All right, hey team, welcome to our Wednesday night call. Tonight is January 25th, and the topic for tonight is expanding your network. And we do have a guest speaker, which I am super excited. But before I announce her, I'm going to announce some announcements. First things first, Team Cup registration has to be done by Tuesday. Guys, there's an ISO post saying, hey, looking for a Team Cup. I am not matching anybody. I am not putting together teams. You are your own boss and you need to step up and you find a team. So if your name is on there and you see other people that have said, I need a team, step up, be the team captain and rally up 5 people. Everybody should be on a Team Cup, and the last day to register is Tuesday. Don't come to me on Wednesday saying, oh, I didn't register. Last day is Tuesday. I saw the prizes. They look kind of cool. I think it's like a Bluetooth speaker, a cooler, and a sleeveless hoodie. I didn't know those were in anymore, but we're going to go with it. The prizes are cool, so let's try to go after them. Guys, I just made the Beachbody On Demand sneak peek or backstage pass, whatever we're calling it. Basically, like how we do our coach sneak peeks, this is how the Beachbody On Demand is going to be. I've never done one of these before, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. Do me a favor. Don't just share the event with no words. If you do that, please delete it and retype it. You need to explain to people why they need to come join the sneak peek, why they need to be there, what Beachbody On Demand has done for you, why everybody should have it. And then I want you to go to the invite, and I literally want you to start inviting people. Invite. I had 50 invites, and I already maxed mine out. If you have 100 invites, go through and just start inviting. I don't even care if you've never talked to the person before. You never know. They may be interested. So just make sure you invite. Third thing, make sure you guys are still rattling up with the team challenge going within the team. I am sneaking in and seeing some of the points, and I see some people are really low with their workout posts. So make sure you're posting your workouts. You're tagging your team captain. Your BAT is filled out. We're going to post those tomorrow. And then lastly, keep pushing for Success Club. I want to give a couple shout outs to some people who have already locked in Success Club and some of those that are really close. Some of you are not dinging the bell. If I have to come chase you down and tell you to ding that bell, ding the bell. That's how we congratulate you, and that's how I know you guys have Success Club. Okay, so Danny Donald has locked in Success Club. Michelle, Success Club 6, Lindsay Session, Success Club 6, Patty, Success Club 6, Jasmine Plon, Success Club 6, Breezy, Success Club 7, and then I'm on the board with 22. And I am so proud of, not all those coaches, but there's so many new coaches that have locked in Success Club, which is amazing. And some of you are super close. So the following people literally need one more challenge pack, one more person to start their health and fitness jersey. Oh boy. Journey, Jasmine Plant, Nicole, Corey, Trish. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. You know who you are. Stephanie Theophilus. Did I do it right? Theophilus? Yeah, see, that's why I don't even try. Sheena, Katrina Waters, Jill Kelly, and Christy Sperana. See, I probably said Christy's wrong too. I did not go into teaching for a reason, y'all, because I botch names. Poor Layla was Lilia for a year. So make sure we're still pushing, guys. Lots of time left at the end of the month. And at the end of this call, when we're all done, usually we stick around for conversations. Not tonight. If you're staying on, you're doing a power hour and you're getting in what you need to get in. But enough from me. So Carolyn is doing our team call tonight. I'm super excited for her. We've been friends for a while on Facebook. You know how you just kind of friend request coaches and then you're like, But we bumped into each other on the cruise. So we officially met this past year on the cruise. We're in the same region together. Carolyn is a 6-star diamond 2007. They changed it. Elite coach. She was ranked 87 out of the entire network, which is freaking unbelievable. She is a team leader on the leadership ladder, and she's a Success Club 10 legend. I had the privilege of speaking on her team call just before this one, and I'm excited for her to share all of her information and hear a little bit more from her. So Carolyn, I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over to you.
All right. Hey guys, thank you for having me on the call. It's really cool to hear all of those things from somebody else saying them about you. I wanted to just, before I get started, let you know I do have my dog on the bed with me. So if he jumps off, I'm going to have to go grab him and bring him back, because the last time I was doing a call, he chewed a hole in my drywall. So yeah, I have to be watching him, and his mouth needs to be occupied at all times. So he's chewing on his antlers, so he should be good. But yeah, my name is Carolyn Marone. I'll be 25 next month. I started coaching in 2014, July 2014, but I was kind of like half-assing it for 6 months because I was a teacher. I went to school to be a teacher, and I didn't think that I would ever be doing this full time. It was just something that I was kind of doing. I was kind of like trying to say I wasn't doing it. I was being very like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm a teacher. I'm in grad school. Like, that's what I'm doing. This is just something that, like, if I have time to do it, I'll do it. It's just fun for me. But I really secretively loved this so much more than what I was actually doing and what I went to school to do, that I figured this out kind of late. I graduated from college. I had my degree. I was teaching for my first year, and I was in a kindergarten classroom, and I loved kids, and it was so much fun, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I don't know how many of you on here are teachers, but it's not what you think it's going to be. When you're a kid, teaching in school and all that is fun. But then when you become a teacher and you get behind the scenes and you see all the politics that are involved in teaching and all the drama and the negative things, I see some of you shaking your heads. I'm guessing you're teachers. It's just not all it's cracked up to be. And I didn't want to be in an environment where every time I was at my lunch break, all I would hear was people complaining that, oh, I don't have money to do this, or, oh, I don't have time to do this with my family, and, oh, I wish I had this. And I was sitting there my first year of teaching like, whoa, I definitely don't want my life to be that way. So then I decided to really start pushing with this business. I went to Super Saturday, my first Super Saturday, in January of 2015 as an Emerald coach. I'm pretty sure my mom was one of my coaches. So, I mean, I had two people. And I went all by myself because I didn't have any local coaches on my team. My mom didn't even want to come with me. And I went there and I got lost a few times and I almost turned around and went home, but something told me to go. And I'm really happy that I went to that event because I went there, like I said, Emerald coach, no clue what I was doing, Success Club 0. And then I ended January of that year with Success Club 24. And from then on, I've hit consistently at least 20, some months maybe 16, but 20 to 40 every single month. I went from being an Emerald coach in January to a 3-star Diamond Premier coach in that year. So if you're looking at yourself like, oh, I just started, I'm not going to be able to do these big goals that I see everyone crushing, don't completely cancel them out from your goals because you definitely can do it. And like, I didn't even know what the heck Premier was until probably 3 months before we were Premier. So don't think that you can't do something because you just got started. You can literally do anything that you want to. But I went to a trip in April with my coach. She took me on the Success Club trip as her guest. We went to Cancun. She's one of those last minute kind of people and messaged me and said, hey, would you want to go to Cancun, like all expenses paid trip in like 3 weeks? Would you be able to make that happen? And I was like, yeah, I'll make that happen. So I left school that day. I got a passport that day because I didn't have one. I got my plane ticket that night. I used all of my personal days and one sick day to go on this trip. So I don't know. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation. No, I'm sick today before I'm going on vacation. I don't know, but I'm lucky I didn't get fired from my job. But I did that because I knew that going there and stepping outside of my comfort zone and doing those things was going to help me. And it was at that trip where I really saw the vision and I really saw like, oh my God, this is something that can be so huge. I was hanging out with top coaches in the swimming pool, drinking mojitos and talking to them about what they're doing at their business. And that's just when I realized that that was where I was supposed to be and that I wasn't completely throwing away teaching. I was just repurposing my teaching degree and all of the things that I was learning over the past 4 years and using it in a different way. So definitely, I know it doesn't sound like any of this has to do with expanding your network, but it really does, because if I didn't take that step outside of my comfort zone and I didn't get a passport, it was literally my first time flying alone, my first time out of the country, my first time meeting my coach in person. I didn't even know her. I didn't even know who she was. She was from Ohio and I'm from New Jersey, but I live in Florida now because of this whole coaching thing. But it's just one of those things while you're working your business, you're going to be afraid to do things. You're going to be afraid to invite people. You're going to be afraid to put yourself out there. You're going to be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and make a live video or follow up with people because you're going to be afraid you're going to be annoying. And you can't be afraid, because if you let your fear take over you, then you're just doing yourself a disservice and you're limiting yourself from what you can actually do. So I put together some slides because I was a teacher and I'm just super anal and organized, except I can't figure out how to show them without me disappearing. So we're just going to look at them on Canva because I don't like talking to a blank screen. It just weirds me out. So can you see these? You're good? Okay. You can see all the other crap on my screen too. All right, so I'm going to talk about how to never miss an opportunity to help someone. And this is about expanding your network, but more so on making sure that you are taking advantage of every single opportunity that you have to help someone, because that is why we're here, whether you like it or not. That's why we're coaches, and that's why you signed up. Everyone is here to help people. So at the end of the day, if you didn't do anything all day, at least you helped somebody or you got closer to helping somebody. So you want to be to others who you needed in your life. So everyone out there needs someone to help them just like you did. And you wouldn't be here if your coach didn't ask you to be here. So that's something that I always tell my new coaches who are afraid to invite. If I never invited you, you wouldn't be here. So don't be afraid to invite people. I'm going to move you guys over because you're in the way of my buttons. Okay. So I'm going to start with some conversation tips and tricks to use while you're talking to people. Now, I listened to Tony Robbins, one of his videos a really long time ago about rapport and how to build positive rapport with people. And you really have to mimic their behavior and mimic the way that they're speaking when you're responding, because then they'll be able to really relate to you. They'll be able to kind of understand you better, and they'll feel like you're supporting them and you're on their side when you're using the language that they're using. So the first thing is you want to be the expert when you're talking to people. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Or if they ask you a question, find the answer and give them the answer. Don't say, I don't know. If you don't know, then make sure that you find the answer and you let them know what it is. You also want to talk about the products and the programs with confidence. You don't want to say, yeah, well, this might help you reach your goal, or this may be the program for you. We'll just have to try and see how you do. Like, you want to convey confidence when you're speaking to people. You want to say things like, I know this will work for you. I'm confident. I say that word all the time. People are probably like, this girl uses this word way too much, but I'm confident that you're going to get results. I have no doubt that you're going to get results. I'm confident that you can do this. I bold it too when I say it. You want people to know that you have their back. You want people to know that you believe in them, because a lot of times people don't believe in themselves. And as long as at least you believe in them, then that might be exactly what they need to push them into, not push them into ordering, but pushing them to step outside of their comfort zone and doing something that they actually need to do. I was on a mastermind call today, actually, and we were talking about Success Club points, and everyone was going around and saying how many points they had. And I currently have 31 Success Club points, and everyone was asking, well, how do you have such high Success Club point numbers? And all I said was, I talk to a lot of people, and I don't let people tell me no. And they were like, well, what do you mean you don't let them tell you no? Like, you don't have control over that. And all I said to them was, well, you kind of do, because you have two choices when somebody tells you no. You can either say, okay, well, thanks, nice talking to you, like, okay. Or you can really, like, dig into them and say, you told me that you wanted to lose 10 pounds, and you told me that you wanted to fit into your wedding dress. And just like if you're talking to them and you're asking the right questions, you're going to have all that information that you can throw back at them and say, no, you told me that you wanted to do this. You told me that this was important to you and your family and your kids. And 9 times out of 10, when I do that, they either sign up like immediately and they're like, yeah, you're right. I know, I need to do this. Give me the link. Or they sign up within the next couple of days because they have to like talk to their husband, which is, I hate when people say that, but I guess I'll know when I'm married. But 9 times out of 10, they do realize like, okay, I do need to do this for myself. And they end up signing up. You also want to relate to their struggles. You don't want to just try to go through a bunch of questions and say, okay, how quickly can I get through all these questions before I send you the link? That's not why you're talking to people. Yes, you want to help them. Yes, you want to build your business. But at the end of the day, the more time you take talking to them and relating to them, the better your experience is going to be with them, because they're going to trust you. And people are not going to order from you and not going to invest in you and be in your group until they trust you. So the more questions you ask, the more interested in them than you are trying to be interesting, the better the results will be with the people that you're talking to. You also want to be yourself. You want to treat them like a friend. Think of how you would speak to your friend. Sometimes I'll even send those stupid little GIFs, or I call them GIFs. I don't know what they are. The GIF images with like the weird things, or like funny memes or things like that. If it just kind of comes naturally in the conversation, not like obnoxious, but I can't really think of an example. But if you're talking about something or like funny, I'm a big movie quote person, so sometimes I'll kind of mention things like that. But just think of the way that you would talk to your best friend, and the ways that maybe you talk to your coaches. I don't know about you, but the way me and my coaches talk, it's crazy. We send funny Snapchats to each other. We're best friends, and that's how you want to talk to the people that you're helping, because you want them to feel like they fit in with you, they trust you, and they're a part of your circle. You can also really try to find ways to integrate fitness and nutrition into your conversation, which I know sometimes seems like super hard, and you don't want to be like, you're talking about cats or dogs, and then all of a sudden you're like, so do you work out? Like, that's kind of weird. But ways that I have found that work really well is if I was talking about this girl's house, and she said that she was looking to get a new house, and something that she really was looking for in a house was to have a lot of property so her dogs could run around, and she wanted to have like a shooting range, or like a space in the backyard so she could go shooting and things like that. And I was like, oh, wow, I really commented on that. Like, that's super awesome. I didn't know that you did that. Having a lot of space for my dog to run around is really important to us as well. And something else that we're really looking for when we go get a house is a space to put a gym. And that opened up the conversation for her to say, oh, I remember actually when I was living in an apartment, it was so nice. We had a gym there all the time. I got to use it every day. And now I don't have a gym, and I've really fallen off track, and I need help getting back on track with everything. I just don't have this space or the money or anywhere to put a gym. If only I could do something at home, that would be perfect. And I'm sitting there like, oh, girl, I got you, because all I said was, hey, all we wanted in our house was a gym. And then she just opened her heart out and poured out the fact that she had a gym and fallen off track. I mean, if you start talking to people and you build a relationship with them that is you've built a solid relationship with somebody when they tell you that they're pregnant before they tell their parents. I can't tell you how many people have told me, well, actually, I haven't announced it to anybody yet. I haven't even told my parents, but I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm so honored that you're telling me this. You didn't even tell your family. So that's when you know that you're really building a strong relationship, when people are willing to kind of open their heart and tell you things like that. You also don't want to be afraid to invite people. That's why you're here. You would not be here if your coach did not invite you. And then you also want to have your daily messages and the things that you repeat day in and day out pre-written. Have them on a note in your phone, wherever you do your work. I have mine on Evernote. If I open it, maybe you'll be able to see it. I'm not sure. But yeah, can you see my Evernote right now? Yeah. So I have new friend messages. If somebody likes my post, here's some challenge group invites. If someone says, what is the group about? I send them this. If somebody's like, oh, what do you do? Because I hate getting that question. I send them the same thing. I'm an online health and fitness coach, and I tells them exactly what I do. So I don't have to come up with something a million times oh, damn, they're asking me the same question again. I just go in here, I look for what they're asking me, I click on it, and I can just send it to them. So if you have it pre-written out, it's super easy. It's not being impersonal, because it's what you would say. And when you talk to people and if 5 people ask you the same question in the same day, you probably would respond similar, like if you were speaking. So it's the same thing. If you have it pre-written out, like your answer's not going to change and it's not being impersonal if you do that. So it'll save you a lot of time and it'll make your power hour so much easier. This is my all access script, and I'm going to share this with Ashley at the end, like the whole PowerPoint. I'll send it to you. But this has been working super well for me, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. I'm taking the approach of no other challenge packs exist at this point, and I'm just pushing the all access because to me, it is the best deal. It is the best for everyone because there's everything on it. And I have been finding that people who couldn't find $140 are now miraculously, oh my God, I have $200. Yeah, I can do that. So I don't know if it's because it's a really amazing deal or they were lying that they didn't have money. I don't know, but everyone has been totally going for this. And I think that this works so well because of this last sentence at the end. Does that fit your budget? If not, let me know. I can work with you. And if they say no, then I just bump it down to the challenge pack, which is 160 or 140, whichever one. But giving them that option, like you can have this 199, or if you want, if that doesn't fit your budget, I still have something that can help you. It's not as good as this one, but you're still going to get enough support that you're gonna be able to reach your goals, and I'm going to be able to help you do that. But I always talk up the 199 all access, and then if they really can't afford it, then I'll say, well, I do have another option that I could share with you. It's just, and I talk about it, and I say like, well, you can get 3 months of on-demand with Shakeology, but with that, it's not every single program. It's just limited programs, but you still get to use it. You're still going to get the shakes. You're still going to get nutrition. And if that's all that you can commit to right now, that's totally fine. You can always upgrade at a later date if you decided to. But they usually end up going with the all access. So definitely that's a tip that's working really well. My whole team's been doing it. Start with the most expensive. Work your way down. I work my way all the way down to, okay, you really can't do this right now, then let's get you set up with a 30-day free trial of On Demand. We'll get you a 7-day sampler pack. It's $40, and I'll put you in my challenge group anyway. And people who do that, they always decide, he just jumped off my bed. They always end up wanting Shakeology after they finish the 7-day sampler anyway, which they end up spending more money that way anyway. But it makes them happy because I'm not making them commit fully to the 140 challenge pack in the beginning, and they still get to experience the group. So that's another thing that's worked really well. Oh, crap. He's ringing the bells, which means he's probably got a poop on my floor, but that's okay. Anyway, the call must go on.
You can go grab him real quick if you need to, Carolyn. Your floors come first.
Yeah, well, because my fiance will come home and probably step in it, and that's not a good way to. But he always poops right by the door. Lay down, Copper. Stop. Lay down. Lay down. Oh, don't step on my computer. Okay, we're good. Okay, so this is what I do with new friends. I used to message all of my new friends like when they accepted me, and then I realized how super creepy and weird that kind of comes off, because that person probably thinks, oh, well, she just added me because she's a coach and wants to speak to me immediately. So what I've been doing now, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. What I've been doing now is not reaching out to them immediately and letting them kind of just see what I'm doing, see my page. Maybe they'll start liking and commenting on a few of my posts. Sorry, I don't know what the hell he's doing. Stop it. And I'm going to lay down so he doesn't get in my way. So I've been letting them kind of just see what I'm doing. And if it's... Copper, stop. Stop it! What are you doing? Get out. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. So, yeah, when I add new friends, I don't message them right away. I used to do that. It's super weird. And you're always like starting super awkward conversations like, oh, hey, I saw that you have a dog. So do I. What's your dog's name? Like stupid things. And it's not the best way to start a conversation that's going to continue. So what I started doing was sending out messages to people who are in groups that I'm a part of. And I don't know if you guys are adding yourselves to groups. It's a great way to meet people. The one thing I must say about groups is don't go add yourself to 50 million groups of people that you have nothing in common with. Like, I'm in a wedding group, but that's because I'm planning a wedding. I'm not in a wedding group because I know people who are getting married want to lose weight. I'm in a wedding group because I'm going to be able to talk to these people about the wedding planning process, because I'm going through that right now. And that's what I'm reaching out to them about. I'm not reaching out to them about working out. I'm not reaching out to them about fitness or nutrition or anything. This is the message that I'm sending to them. And as I click send, I click add friend. And I go through and I do like 10 a day. And it goes something like, hey, name, or whatever their name is. I hope you don't mind me reaching out. I'm new to the wedding slip swap group. I figured we might have something in common. I just got engaged to my fiance in March. I moved to Florida in May. We're still undecided on a venue. We have one now, but this was old. This wedding planning thing is no joke. Haha. I'm looking to fill my life up with other like-minded and excited brides-to-be who have gone through the planning process already, and also maybe get some advice and throw a few ideas around. Congratulations, by the way. When did you get engaged, or are you married already? Hope this isn't weird, with a little monkey. Because I'm not reaching out to them about Beachbody. I'm not reaching out to them about fitness. They probably don't even know I'm a coach. I'm just this random girl who's planning a wedding that wants to talk to them about wedding planning things. And I've been talking to these girls about like their whole wedding. I could tell you like what they're going to be wearing, what their colors are, where they're getting married, how many people they're having. And that's like a really substantial conversation starter, because I'm telling them about me. I'm telling them what group I found them in. I'm telling them why I'm in that group. I'm telling them what I'm expecting to get out of our relationship. And I'm congratulating them and edifying them at the end and asking a question so that they'll respond to me. So it's really about the structure of the message, but more so when you find a group that you can kind of click with people. So let's say maybe you have a specific type of dog, or you can do like maybe you have a Labradoodle or a Boston Terrier. You might want to add yourself to those kind of groups. Or maybe you're really into knitting, or I don't know, some type of hobby. Then you want to add yourself to that group and start talking to those people in that group. I know a lot of moms. There's a ton of mom groups. There's local mom groups. There's like this big mom group. I don't know yet. I'm not a mom. But there's so many groups on Facebook that you can find people in who are just like you, because they're going through the same kind of thing that you're going through, and you can relate to them and make friends with them. So that's how I start those conversations. The other conversations that I start are birthdays. So anytime it's somebody's birthday, I don't comment on their wall and say happy birthday unless it's a coach, or it's a coach of mine, or like another coach in the network. And if it's a dude, I hit delete, because they don't need to be my friend. They're taking up a space in my friends list, and it's usually like some creepy guy from college who like thought I was cute and added me, and I have no interest speaking to. So that is how I use birthdays to start conversations, and I'll send them a message like saying happy birthday to them, letting them know I'm seeing them in my news feed. Because we haven't spoken in a while, I haven't forgotten about you. I still see you posting. I just wanted to take time out of my day, wish you a happy birthday. What are you doing for your birthday this year to celebrate? And I have a whole list in an Excel sheet of all the people that I said happy birthday to who responded, so that I know those are people that I can continue to talk to for the next couple of months, and then invite them very soon. So I don't message them. I wait till their birthday. So this is leading to that. This is birthdays. This is what I say. Don't shit on my floor. I can't keep track of them in an Excel sheet, and I highlight them. And then what I do 3 emotional deposits, and I invite them. So basically, I always mix this up when I talk about it, but it's in my brain. So let's say this month is January. So I count back 2 months. So that would be November. And in January, I start talking to the people I said happy birthday to in November again. But those people, I'm still kind of like every once in a while checking in with them, liking their stuff. So I'm still kind of like popping up in their newsfeed. At the end of this month, I'm going to invite them, like the very last day of the month, I'm going to invite all of them to my February group. So it's not like it's just a random invite. We've been talking for a few months back and forth, and these are people that are more likely to be interested or say yes because they've been watching what I'm doing, they're seeing what I'm doing, I'm commenting on their things, I'm liking their posts. So that's how I do that. And then on the 15th of every month, I'll go back to the people whose birthdays it was 1 month ago. So this is January. I'll go back the following month to December, and I'll not invite them, but I'll reach out to all the ones who responded again, and I'll converse with them so that in February, when that time comes around and they're 2 months out, if this is making sense, it makes sense to me. I'll be inviting the people from December in February. Does that make sense? Kind of a little bit? Okay. So then the other group of people that are super, super important are your challengers. You need to love on them. It's not like, okay, I got you. You're in my group now. I don't have to ever talk to you again. Like, I feel like once we get them, we're so excited we get them, and then sometimes we just totally forget about them and they fall off. But that's our fault, because if you're not continuing to message them weekly, then they're probably going to fall off. So this is actually, the girl who messaged me this is actually now a coach on our team. Like, she became a coach before the challenge group even ended. And I feel like I have a really good closing rate from challenger to coach. And I honestly feel like it's because my challenge groups are super fun. They are super like training you to be a coach and you don't realize it kind of thing. Like, I'm making them post things. I'm making them share like how Shakeology is helping them, and I'm making them tag some friends who they think would like to do the group with us next, like things like that, getting them to really participate in coach-like behavior without actually realizing that they're doing it. And then I check in with them weekly in a direct message. I use the Challenge Tracker app. If you don't use the app and you or don't know how to use the app, or you don't like the app, I can talk to you about it because I'm obsessed with it. And I've been using it since it came out in like February of last year. I will not ever run another group on Facebook. I just love the app. I have such an awesome experience in there. Everyone loves it. It's great because it really reinforces Shakeology and your workouts, because they have to check them in. And I do weekly drawings. So even though it's not like, now it's the health bet, but even if it's not the health bet, like February is not going to be the health bet, I'm still going to do weekly drawings for anyone who logs 5 shakes and 3 workouts. So it doesn't matter like how many, like if they do all 7, they're going to get 2 entries in the drawing. If they do 5 and 3, they're going to get 1. But it's still reinforcing the behavior that you want them to do, which is what I use my challenge groups as a way to kind of like breed coaches without them realizing it. But this was a message that a girl who's now a coach sent me. And it's just one of those messages that when you get this kind of message, you know that you're doing your job. You know that you're creating a really awesome experience for your challengers. And she was just super excited about the group. I'm not going to read it because it's been up there probably long enough for you to read it. But she was just really excited about it. And she felt that it was a way for her to be supported by women instead of being kind of torn apart by women, it's just an honor to be told that your group is helping somebody in that way. But yeah, definitely love on them. Check in on them weekly. I have a series of messages that I send them. I have like 4 messages. So I have one for each week that I'll send them. And I'll edit it based on like the person I'm speaking to. But a lot of times I'll do things like, oh, I see you posted a photo of your dinner the other day. It looked amazing. Would you mind sharing the recipe in the group? I think everyone would really love to see the recipe so that they can make it. And then they'll go in and they'll share the recipe in the group. And that's something that a coach would do, share the recipe from their dinner. Or if I see that somebody if I see that somebody posted something in the group that was really awesome, I might say something to them like, hey, did you ever think about sharing that on your Facebook? I'm pretty sure that people that aren't in our group would appreciate that just as much as the people who are. And then they'll just do it. They'll go on their Facebook and they'll post it just because I said that. I don't know why, it's just they do. So anytime that you can encourage them to post quiet on Facebook or in the group and help other people get up there and be sorry, this is like not professional at all. And exhibit coach-like behavior is a great way to get them to become a coach. And then personal reach outs. This is why this girl is actually also a coach now. She just signed up this month too. This is why it's important to be yourself and know your avatar. Social media presence is so, so important, and having a schedule is even more important. So when I was teaching full-time, every night before I went to bed, before I was even allowed to close my eyes, I had to have all of my posts written out for the next day so that I knew what I was posting, and I didn't have to think about it, and I didn't have to say, oh, well, what can I think of? I can't be creative today. Before I went to bed, my posts were done. So that was something I kind of strayed away from for a while once I became full-time, and that's something to be kind of be warned about if you are working a job now. You may actually be more productive now than when you go full-time for a little bit, because you don't realize, you're like, I have all this time, I don't know what to do with it. So you really need to make a schedule and stick to it. And it wasn't until I did that I was like back to where I needed to be. But I recently this year in January again started doing that. Every night before I go to bed, I write my post for the next day. And for the whole month, I have everything mapped out so I know when I'm going to post what. And the reason I did that was because I started to kind of catch myself not posting enough about my story and not posting enough about like challenge groups and coaching and Shakeology, and I was just kind of posting my dog and whatever I could think of like all day. And while it was great and people liked it, I wasn't really doing the things that I was telling my coaches to do. So having the schedule has really helped me get back onto doing that and sharing my story once a week, a little piece from it. And since I've been doing that, I've had people reach out to me telling me like, I want to quit my job. I hate my job. Help me quit my job. And I love getting messages like that. It just shows that you're actually talking to your people and you're doing the things that you need to be doing on your social media. You're having a presence that it's reaching people. You're touching people's lives when you're speaking, and they're, oh my God, I relate to that story. I can totally see where you're coming from. Like those are people that when you talk to them in a message, you're going to be able to reach out and say, hey, thanks so much for the support on my post. It really means a lot. And then you can ask them about like, you said that you're related to this. Could you tell me a little bit more about your story? And then you can talk to each other, and it's not going to be weird because they already said they relate to your story. So you want to talk about your story once a week. You want to talk about your story different days a week. You don't want to talk about your story only on like Transformation Tuesday, because not everybody might be on the computer on Tuesday. Maybe they are super busy and they work really long hours on Tuesday, and because you're only posting on Tuesday, they're missing it. So if you post it a different day each week, you have a better chance that everyone's going to see it. And you also want to share the success of your team and the success of your challengers, because when you do that, people are going to see, number one, you have a team that they can be a part of. Number two, that you're having success and that your team is having success, not just you. Like it's great to, when your coach makes a post for you, like, oh, 6-star diamond coach, that's awesome when my coach did that. But to me, it means more when I'm able to make those kind of posts for my coaches and celebrate their success, because it's showing that I'm helping people with their business and I'm helping people grow. And every Saturday I do a Sweat Your Heart Out spotlight. And it's never somebody who rank advances. It's never somebody who hits Success Club. It's never related to that. It's literally just a coach that I look at the week and I say, who stood out to me this week for doing something really awesome, who was really present on social media, who didn't miss a day of their workout, who like nothing related to Success Club or rank advancing, because there's too much recognition for that already. People need to be recognized for like just doing the right thing and doing their job. So I pick a coach from our team every Saturday, whether it's my PS coach or not. The past two I've done have not been my PS coaches. And the amount of excitement that they have, like seeing that post for themselves, is awesome. And then that next week they kill it because they have that confidence boost. So doing that is going to help your leaders on your team have that confidence. And I usually pick people who sometimes I see they maybe are a little down on themselves that week. I'll try to find one thing that they did really well, and I'll make a post and I'll share it on my social media so that they see that I recognize all of the good things they're doing too. And just because there's like one thing that might have happened, it's not over. So what's this? Oh, I have double of the same. That's a mistake. So getting back to sharing your story, when you share your story, you really need to be vulnerable. And I know this call is about expanding your network, and this is going to help you do that, as much as it might not make sense right now. But the more vulnerable you are, the more willing you are to share things that scare the living shit out of you to even talk about. Like, my mom has never seen this picture before until I posted it a few weeks ago. Then the more you're going to attract people to you who are like you, who get you. James is probably home. Who understand where you're coming from, because they've been through a lot of the same things that you have. And the one thing that I like to tell shut up, Copper. The one thing that I like to tell my coaches is, when you're sharing your story, can you guys still hear me, even though he's barking? All right. Hey, relax. Mommy is okay. Nobody's going to come in here and hurt mommy. Lay down. He's so protective. So when you're sharing your story, the one thing that you want to think about is, what are the feelings that you were feeling? Not so much the actual events that you were going through, but more so the feelings that you are feeling, because people relate to feelings. When people make decisions, it's based on an emotional, emotional. Decisions are emotional. So people make decisions based on their emotions. So you really want to get people to be drawn to you and really relate to that feeling you were feeling. So maybe not everybody on my Facebook who is my target market knows what it feels like to drink an entire bottle of champagne and not remember a damn thing you did that night, but you woke up with 15 bruises all over your body and you don't know how you got them. But other people might be able to relate to being uncomfortable, feeling like you had to do something to fit in, feeling just like having a lack of self-respect. Things like that, feelings. Everyone has feelings, and everyone has felt some type of feeling that makes them feel maybe embarrassment. That's a feeling that we've all felt. And when you talk about that in your post and you share the feeling, and more so than like the actual event, then you're going to get people who are relating to you, because they know what it feels like to be embarrassed. They know what it feels like to be uncomfortable, and they know what it feels like to be depressed or upset or things like that. So it's super, super important. You want to share the nitty-gritty story. You don't want to share like the PG version of your story, although you might want to. The more you share, the more people you're going to help. And just some of the reactions that you get on them, it just feels so good to know that what you're sharing is actually helping people, and you're not just sharing it just to share. Some of these comments and things like that really, really show like you're actually helping people with sharing your story. This is another example of a story share. This was literally like spur of the moment. I put this shirt on and I was like, oh my God, I think I have a picture in my phone of me in this shirt, but I totally don't look this good in it. So I put it next to it, and I was just completely blown away at myself at the transformation that was there. And I posted this, and I had got a huge, huge feedback from this post. I had people messaging me. People just thought it was cool that it was literally the same shirt. Some people were just shocked that I was even that big, because people didn't realize it. People were just surprised, and a lot of people said that they could see I was much happier now. But I really talked about my feelings. I said she was negative, quiet, always felt like she didn't fit in, looking for her place in the world, unhappy, just a shitty person to be around. That was me. That's what I was focusing on, not just like, yeah, I was 20 pounds heavier, but the person that I was. So when you're making your post, just kind of think outside of the box. Think about the person that you were before Beachbody. Think about the person that you would like to see. Think about what you would like to hear if you were kind of looking for somebody to look up to, or especially when you're talking about coaching. Think about all of the things that you would want to hear if somebody was telling you about this opportunity. And I don't mean like that you're going to make a bunch of money, but I mean things like having a recipe for success, having a team, having support, having accountability. Using words like that are going to make people feel more comfortable being a part of your team, because they know they're going to be supported. They know they're going to have a community of friends, and they're not just going to be a part of something that's like you joined and you're on your own. Oh no. Okay. So I do have homework because I was a teacher, and I wanted you to, first of all, I want you all to write out all the messages that you send all the time and have them saved somewhere for easy access. This is, I mean, I'm not going to know whether or not you did it, but if you do it, it's going to help you. So definitely, it doesn't take long. You don't have to do it all at once, but as you're talking to people, if you have something that sounds really good and it works, copy it, paste it, put it in a note, and then use it again, because there's no point in recreating your conversations. And the second thing is I want you to pick a day this week. So I know it's Thursday. Well, tomorrow's Thursday. So I would say probably not Saturday, but anytime Sunday to Wednesday, pick a day, share your story. Not the fluffy version of your story, but the real nitty gritty raw version, the version that maybe you'd be afraid for like your mom to hear. I mean, literally my mom has never seen that photo until I posted it. And she actually messaged me when I posted it and was like, oh my God, I feel so bad for never letting you out when you were in high school and all this stuff. Cause I was talking about how I was so sheltered and I was never allowed to go out to parties and I was never allowed to go out. So when I went to college, I went like balls to the walls and went crazy. And she felt like it was her fault because she didn't let me out in high school. She literally messaged me after I made that. But definitely pick a day that you're going to share your story. If you want to maybe share it in your team page first so that you can feel more comfortable and getting the support from your team. That's something I encourage my coaches to do. If they have something they're afraid to share it in the team page first, and then share it on your Facebook after that. Once you've posted it once and you've got some support from your team, then it's a whole lot easier to share it again. Also something that as a leader you can do, if you have coaches who make really awesome posts, copy it and post it in your team page and give them a little shout out and say, everyone go like Abby's post. She stepped outside of her comfort zone, posted her first video today. It's so awesome. Things like that are going to help those people. Once you get them involved in your community, they're going to make them stick around because they're going to feel supported all the time. So I mainly focused on Facebook in this. I do use Instagram, but that's just literally like a whole nother call in itself. But I do have I have videos on my YouTube that kind of talk about how I use Instagram. So if you wanted to check those out, but that is really all that I had really for Facebook wise, because I do a whole separate thing with Instagram, but I hope that was helpful.
Holy moly. I have like 3 pages of notes and my coaches are like, this is awesome, which I think this is so great to hear because everybody does something differently. And I'm like, why haven't I thought of this? And I'm like, then how can I steal Carolyn's computer and get into her Evernote and get all of her stuff? Like, how can I make this happen? And I also to tell you, my dog was growling every time your dog barked and it was absolutely hilarious because my dog was like all of 9 pounds. But no, this was amazing. And I'm so glad that this is the topic that we chose you to talk about because I think this is so important because I tell you guys, the minute you become a coach, add to your network. And I know I got tidbits like the birthday thing. That's genius. Like I absolutely love that. So I know this call went a little bit longer. Carolyn, are you good for a couple questions if they have any?
I'm fine. Home alone with the dog. So
does anybody have any questions? I know sometimes you guys tend to be quiet, but now is the time to ask them. Because like I don't add to my network this way, but trust me, I am like adopting a lot of these things. So I won't have the answers for you. So now is the time to ask the questions that you may have. Don't try to come to me later and be like, can you ask Carolyn this? And like, should have talked earlier. Yeah, Christy, hold on. Let me unmute you. 1 second, Christy. All right, go ahead, Christy.
Can you just kind of go over your birthday thing again? I was writing down other notes and I didn't catch all of it.
Yeah, let me pull it up so that I actually say it correctly.
No, that was genius. The birthday thing, I love it.
My fiance is on that way, he's barking. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it up so I can read it off so I don't screw it up. Hey, babe. Okay, so the first, and I haven't been doing this long enough. I should kind of put a little disclaimer on this. I haven't been doing it long enough to say like, yes, this works like 100%, but I've started doing this last year around like October, November. So I'm just starting to get into the wave of people that I'm ready to invite. But basically the first of the month, and I didn't even say this. I only do follow-ups on Mondays and Fridays because I used to spend like my entire power hour following up with people. So now I just do them all on Monday and Friday. And then I have a 10 in play list, which are like people I need to follow up with a little bit more. But on the first of every month, I message the first of the month, I message the birthdays from 2 months ago. So this is January. So January 1st, I messaged everyone from November, and it wasn't an invite. It was just like a message because I talked to them 2 months prior. So I'm talking to them again, just like popping in their inbox, commenting on something on their wall, whatever. The 15th of the month, I messaged the birthdays from the last month. So on the 15th of this month, he ate that. Uh-oh. I messaged the people from December. Same kind of thing, checking in kind of message, just a normal hey girl message. And then on the last day of the month, which hasn't come yet, so just January, is there 31 days? 31 days. 30 days has September, April. Yeah, 31. In January, I will be messaging all of the people from 2 months ago, which I already messaged on the first of the month, but this time I'm going to invite them because it's not the first time I talk to them. It's not the second time I talk to them. It's like the third time that I'm reaching out to speak to them. And I don't think it's weird for me to invite them because I've talked to them multiple times within the past couple of months.
The people that you're messaging on the first or that you're just messaging, are those people that responded back to you or everybody that you messaged?
The ones that responded back. If I say happy birthday to you and you can't at least thank me, then whatever.
No, I just wanted to make sure on that because I think that's a really good thing because I'm not somebody who forms. I don't have time to have a million conversations, and I feel like this is a very much quicker way. That was a horrible sentence. Sorry, teacher. A much quicker way to work that process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like I use that as my new reach outs, and some days you have 2, some days you have 10. It just depends. So I don't really go for, I'm going to invite 20 people a day and start this many conversations. I kind of look at it as a weekly thing. So weekly, like I talk to a lot of people, but I may only invite like 50 people a week. I know people that are like, I invite 20 people a day. But to me, like, okay, cool. So you invite 140 people a week. If you're inviting 140 people a week, you should have like a really, really high success club number at that point. But I feel like when you're reaching out to so many people and you're just like randomly inviting, you're not taking that time to actually build a relationship and you're less likely to get a yes. So to me, I'd rather invite 50 a week that are quality invites that I'm actually like we have a conversation going than just like let me invite 20 people because I have to invite 20 people today. So
Shower.
Christy, sorry, I muted you because I saw that you had someone walk in on you. Does that answer that question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, Emily, she quit her job as a teacher. She does this full time.
Oh, yeah. I quit 10 months into coaching. I left a little prematurely because I was living home with my parents, but I was still supporting myself, but like what much more could I really need? I had a house and I had food. So, but yeah, I left my teaching job 10 months in, and I left because I was making the same amount doing this that I was teaching. So to me, it didn't make sense to keep driving 2 hours a day to be miserable and make the same amount and just making enough money to put gas in my car to go drive to work the next day just didn't make sense. So that's why I left. But everyone always is like, oh, are you going to ever teach again? Or you move to Florida? Are you going to teach in Florida? And I'm like, no, never. I didn't even say this. I dropped out of grad school. I had 3 classes left before my master's and I just dropped out. So my parents weren't happy about it, but they're pretty happy now because I'm doing well. So good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yep.
So I have never been able to actively participate in any groups, like any Facebook groups, like a mom group or whatever. I've joined a few. So do you have a schedule? Do you have a day where you're like, okay, I need to check into these groups, or is it a daily thing for you?
I don't post in them. I just go to the members list and I go down one by one by one by one and I send that message.
Friend them and then message them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't even post in the group.
Okay, so you're not like posting and reading posts and commenting and
No, that's too much work.
like that's I'm like, I don't have time for that. Like
No, I do have a coach who does that. She does we do Instagram 531s from Shalene, but she'll do that in a Facebook group. So she'll like 5 photos, comment on 3, and then reach out to the people who commented on that. But to me, that's just too much. I literally just go to members and then I change defaults. I change it to alphabetize. So it goes from A to Z, and I literally have an Excel sheet. I'm still in the A's in this group. There's over 6,000 people in it, and I'm just doing like 10 a day. And it's going to probably last me until I get married, which will be great.
yeah, because I'm getting 0 new likes or comments on my normal Facebook posts. Like it's just the same people, the same coaches, the same few friends, and I'm getting like 0 new people to talk to who are actually like,
yeah.
Are you adding new friends daily though, Katrina?
Yes, I am. I'm like religiously adding new friends, but they're not like close friends, they're like, oh, a second cousin of this person, or I went to college with,
yeah,
not like close people.
Well, if you do the birthdays, you'll definitely start seeing more people liking and commenting on them, because I've noticed the people that I reach out to and say happy birthday to tend to kind of check in. Also, too, with the Facebook algorithm, I don't know if it's still the same, but I know that if you're not commenting and liking on people's posts, they're not going to see yours. So if you have a certain select group of people that you really want to see your post, then you need to go to their Facebook and like and comment on their stuff too, so that when you post something, it's going to be put in their feed, because Facebook only puts your stuff in front of so many people, and they say like, oh, well, this girl, she's liking and commenting on her, so they must be friends, so let's make sure that they see each other's things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, Jill. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Where are you, Jill? Why can't I find you? It's not like alphabetized. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Jill.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're good.
Okay. So my question is kind of like sharing your story. Do you ever repeat, because I know you're obviously not sharing your whole story all at once. Do you ever repeat kind of the pieces that you share? And if so, how long in between? If that makes sense.
I do. I save my posts in my Evernote too. So sometimes I have a note in my Evernote that says story share, and I'll put all of my stories, I type them right in there so I can just copy and paste it. But if it's kind of it's basically, the thing is, you can share the same post multiple times and people aren't going to notice. I can't tell you how many times I've shared the same words with a different photo, and the same people liked it. And I'm like, okay, did you not realize it was the same thing? And then sometimes I share the same photo with a different caption, and people, if people have enough time on their hands to realize that you posted that same post 2 months ago, then they're really stalking your life too much. So I wouldn't worry about it. Definitely reuse content. It's a good idea. You can always take it and change it up a little bit, so you don't have to come up with something original every time. You always just kind of have a baseline to start with. So yeah, you can totally share it again and again. And something that I make my coaches do as well as part of their Coach Basics training is to make a list of story starters. So things my story starter list has on it is Franzia, words, Franzia, tequila, grad school dropout, bullying, harassment, verbal abuse, things like that, things that I went through, so that I can just literally look at that, like a story web type of thing. You can just pick one of those words and I can tell you a story, or I can remember a time when if I looked at that word and I saw like bullying, I could tell you about that time in college when I was living with 4 roommates who wanted to make my life a living hell. And I can tell you about that story when I was in the kitchen and they were literally chucking containers at me and calling me names and all of those things. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. But I can just remember those things just by seeing those words. So if you have a list of just like random things that will trigger things in your mind so that you can start a story about them, that's a good idea to have handy. And then also having a list of like other things. So my other list looks like pineapples, dogs, paddleboarding, acai bowls, things like that, that I kind of post in between everything to break it up. But yeah, nobody will know if you share the same stuff. I do it all the time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any other questions? I know this is kind of late, so I don't want to keep her much longer. And if you do have a couple.
Just got to go write my post and go to bed.
Well, thank you, Carolyn, so much for hopping on to us with us tonight. Like, I know I have a ton of information, and I will post that message that slide about the bot unlimited that she sends me. I will post that in the group with the call to action from this team call. Be on the look for it. But thank you so much for doing this call. I know I got a lot of information out of it. I can tell by all of my coaches still being on this call, they got a lot of information. So that speaks a volume within itself. So thank you very much.
Anytime. It was a pleasure being here. Nice to see all of you guys.
All right.